she is a laboratory fellow at Pacific Northwest National Lab, which is, it's nice to have representation from one of the labs that's not in New Mexico. So that's great. She has an extensive research history, mostly it looks like with material science and computations for material science. And she is going to talk to us about HPC-Accelerated development, deployment of carbon capture technologies. So I'll let you know when that's going to be.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm going to stick it from that side.
I turned that up. You might turn it
Oh.
up.
Okay. Is it better?
Yes.
I too would like to thank the organizers for inviting us out here. I believe as a lab this is the first time we participate in this workshop. Does anybody here in the audience know where Pacific Northwest National Lab is? It's in the Pacific Northwest, that's right.
In the Tri-State
Tri-Cities area. It's southeast of Washington. We're bordering Oregon. So, and have you ever heard of the Hanford nuclear site historical? Yeah. Well, so we're about 40, 30 miles south of Hanford.
I'm from Seattle.
20, 40 miles from Seattle, 20, 40 miles from Portland. So it's pretty much a triangle. And there's a reason for it to be like that, because of the nuclear heritage. Yeah, so far away from that, that's not going to be my topic, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you all about, I'm going to use a use case, and in this case it's an applied program that we're doing at the Pacific Northwest National Lab on carbon capture. I'm not going to talk about very much detail. This talk, originally when I got invited over here, I didn't know the audience, and it's very dry. It's like statistics and CFD and how do we couple them. And I think after listening to the morning talks, I'm going to use that as a use case to illustrate to you who we are and why do we do a project in this team like this, and what does it mean to each individual of us in terms of career development. So that's, I think, the angle I'm going to go after, okay? So, I do have an advertising slide. That's what I just talked about. So computing programs at PN Analysis, this is the HPC pipeline programs. This is my shameless advertisement for the lab. At any given point, PNNL, Pacific Northwest National Lab, we heard in the morning, Nano, Los Alamos National Lab, Sandia, we are different from Nano and Sandia in the sense that Nano and Sandia are weapons lab. In other words, these are the nuclear weapons lab. And PNNL is similar to Oak Ridge National Labs, Argonne National Lab. In a sense, we are Office of Science multi-program labs. So our mission is not nuclear weapons. Our mission, if you go read the PNNL website, is for, it's really interesting, very generic, but it's, if I can remember, it's transform the world through courageous innovation and discovery. So what that means is a science and innovation is technology laboratory that right now we're focusing on national security and energy and environment. So the example, the use case I'm going to talk about today is really for energy and environment. Why we need to take the CO2 out of the atmosphere for what technologies are we using. Obviously, for doing that, we need to do a lot of modeling and simulation in concert with experiments, right? So these are the outlines of the computing programs currently ongoing at PNNL. And if you go into any of these lines, you can look at those keywords and look at what you're doing to see if any of these are relevant. And if there is any relevance, you can go down there at, there's a jobs site there that you could go and look for jobs. Constantly, we have a lot of job opening, and we're constantly screening with permanent staff members, postdocs, and also interns. Right now is the internship season. So just look at these sort of keywords on technical capabilities that we're looking for, and see if there's any relevance. So you could apply, or you can talk to me. So, by the way, I worked through the ranks. So this is a little bit, after hearing what the previous speakers, I think there's a bit of storytelling going behind all of these talks. So I worked my ranks up from Battelle Columbus, who manages PNNL solely. I worked there for 9 years after I got my PhD, and then I got shipped out to PNNL about 12 years ago. So right now I'm the laboratory fellow at PNNL, which is the highest technical ranking, and then I also manage a group. So I heard Karen talking about work-life balance, and that's really, I think to all of us, that's very important. Obviously, for most of you who, if you want to do that, then that's working at a national lab environment. That's really, to me, I think that's a perfect balance. I don't know if any of you are looking for jobs at the national lab or university or industry. Obviously, there's pros and cons for working at any institutions, but what I found, at least when I was graduating in 1995, I couldn't make up my mind either to go to industry, very fast-paced, or to academia, even more fast-paced. So I decided I couldn't make up my mind. So I said, well, what about going into something like R&D? So I picked Battelle, which I thought maybe after 5 years I could finally make up my mind, so I could either go to academia or go to industry. Well, 22 years later, I'm still here. So that I think this can make a career out of itself. So using the project that we've been working on for, right now this is the 7th year. This thing is called Carbon Capture Simulation Initiative. And I'm not going to be very political, I'm going to state the facts, okay? So carbon...
It's a shame that those two things are different now.
And I have no alternatives, okay. So carbon dioxide emission by coal-fired power plants is the #1 source for global warming right now. And obviously there are different ways to reduce CO2 emission. Part of what the lab is working on, these green energy, renewables, nuclear, what we're working on here is, if coal-fired power plants are here to stay, how do we capture the post-combustion CO2 from the flue gas? So we can capture it, sequestration, you heard about CO2 sequestration, right? Liquefy it and then inject it underneath some rocks so it doesn't come out to harm our environment. So that is the project we started working on in 2009. And there's a little story to it. You see a huge team here. This is a huge well, when I say huge, it's not as huge as any of these Sandia weapons programs. It's a $50 million program for 5 years. And you can see 5 national labs involved in this. Guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 universities, and then tons of industry companies. So we work as a national lab projects. This is a typical project that we would work on, multidisciplinary, and you have contributors coming from all disciplines. So in terms of diversity in this environment, obviously as Danny talked earlier, diversity in terms of all the things that you can observe. Also, this is multidisciplinary, discipline diversity, right? If you look at our CCSI structure, Carbon Capture Simulation Initiative structure, we decided to go from lower lane scale all the way to the largest lane scale. Task 1 is the basic data where you're either using sorbent-based capture or solvent-based capture. Basically, you're talking about chemistry. Discovering of that solvent or sorbent to achieve the CO2 capture event, right? This is in a university environment. This will be chemistry department, chemistry department will deal with that. The second one is the task that I led, which is the particle and device scale model. This is basically reactive CFD, reactive flow, multi-phase flow. And that's typically done in mechanical engineering, right? And then the third task, process synthesis and design, and that's chemical engineering department. In fact, we're hiring professors from Carnegie Mellon, CAME, to do that. Task 4, planned operations and control, and that's double E, that's controls. If you move down, integration framework, that is through the software integration, that's computing. How do we use computational tool to link all of this together? Then you move down to task 6, uncertainty quantification and optimization. That's your mathematics department, putting some statistics behind it, right? How to make decisions. And then risk analysis, decision making, that's kind of the financials. In the end, if you're truly trying to do this, you are not going to put a huge penalty on the cost of electricity. So there is a cutoff point on risk. As any scale-up project goes, risk always comes down from technical to financial risk. How much more expensive are we going to make this electricity per kilowatt if you were to implement this technology, right? So, and then again, task 8, which is software linked with the integration framework, that's your computer science, computer engineering department. So you can see in this whole project, it involves the entire College of Engineering plus math. It's a huge undertaking, and I cannot remember who said in the morning, and that's typically the advantage of working at a national lab, because instead of having the stovepipes typically you see at a university, I think the university professors would rather name them as individual pillars of excellence, right? Instead of stovepipes. We actually, at the labs, we tend to work on things multidisciplinary, and to me, this is diversity in discipline. And that's needed in solving a grand challenge like this. So this is the case study I'm going to go. Again, I will show you the challenges and show you from a framework perspective how we overcome this challenge. From here on, what I'm going to present is only my task, task 2. Bear in mind, this is the particle and device scale simulation that I was responsible for. And this has a little more story behind it too, and I think that's something I also would like to share with you in this audience. I got a call when we were driving to Yellowstone in 2008 in the summer. We were in the car, just happy, really happy to be able to get away from work. All of a sudden I got a call from the manager. Can you call to this conference call number? He gave me the conference call number. I said, what about? He says, we're trying to get this initiative going. It's a multi-year, multi-lab initiative. Really wanted you to lead this task. And I was like, what? You want me to lead a carbon capture simulation initiative? By training, just so that you know, by training, I do computational mechanics. And my specialty was in materials, solid mechanics. That's my weirdest thing is, my undergrad was in naval architecture, marine engineering, in the structural materials portion. I got a master, actually 2 masters from Michigan, University of Michigan. One in mechanical engineering, which is the applied mechanics portion. The other is in naval architecture, marine engineering, of course. And then my PhD is also in naval architecture, marine engineering, solid mechanics. I was writing UMath for a commercial called Abacus. So when I got this call, I got really scared and concerned. I told him, I said, I'm not sure I can do it. And he goes, well, so far you're the best candidate, just do it. So, I joked, I said, I took a vacation out of my vacation. What happened is the rest of the family all went out, and Yellowstone, if you've ever gone to Yellowstone, there's no cell signal in Yellowstone. So I have to take a vacation from my family vacation. I camped out at the resort where I can use my cell phone to call in. And that conference call lasted 4 hours, and that's when we laid out what we're going to do. But as you know now, I wasn't trained to do this. I was trained in the solid mechanics arena. How can I use the solid mechanics knowledge that I had back then to lead a task of this nature? And I was really timid. I didn't want to do it. But again, I got told to do it. There's no option, so I just basically, I bite the bullets and I said, I'll do it. So, but the years, so it started 2008. Now we just finished CCSI. We started CCSI 2 as of February, last year, February 1st of last year. So it turned out if you challenge yourself, you can learn. That's what I figured out. So, and through this process, I learned a whole lot because I have all these very capable collaborators in the whole process. People from industry who give us challenges, collaborators from the laboratory, and from universities. So you actually learn. So don't be afraid. That's one of the lessons I think I want to pass on to you, or what I learned from all these years is don't be afraid, challenge yourself. Don't stay comfortable, because the minute you stay comfortable, I think you're just going to be complacent. So whenever you're challenged, just say, well, I'm going to just put up my best effort, and just don't back off. That's one of the lessons I learned, I think, through this process. So this case study, when we got told to do this, the sorbent, as you can see on the left-hand side, these sorbents are 118 micron in diameter, and you can see, if you can at all, these are mesoporous silicate, essentially. What we do is we actually impregnate this mesoporous material with a chemical called MEA. Essentially, that MEA is the active ingredient to capture CO2, right? And you can see all these reaction equations and all these kinetics equations, but this happens at a submicron level. The reaction happens at a submicron level, okay? We have to model that. Now, at a device scale, we're talking about, you can think of this big coal-fired power plants. I don't know if any of you had ever visited one of those. Those are massive. And the CO2 emission of an average coal-fired power plant, just one of them, 3.5 million tons per year. So if you're thinking of capturing that kind of magnitude, you can imagine your equipment. The device scale equipment, depending on how you want to sequence them, you want to sensitize them, each one of them is tens of diameter, tens of meters in diameter, tens of meters in height. So from those of us who do mechanics simulations, CFD or mechanics, how do you bridge the scale from 118 micron level and particle all the way fluidized to a tens of meter in diameter and height reactor? That's a huge multi-scale challenge, right? And that's what we got to deal with in this one task. So basically, we got asked to do this hydrodynamics simulation of gas particle flow. This is two-phase flow already. Then you have these vertical heat exchanger tubes in the reactor because the reaction actually is exothermic, so it generates heat. You need to take the heat away for the reaction to go forward, otherwise it's inverse reaction. Then, how do you consider these heat transfer tubes and their effects on hydrodynamics? Because you now are going to break down all these air bubbles to smaller bubbles. How do you take care of that? Then in the end, how do you simulate this and scale up? Essentially, it's a coarse graining method, this temperature-dependent mass transfer of this exothermic reaction. So computational challenges, I will not go into details. But to Damien's point, these are solved in MFIX. It's an Fortran code. So this basically is showing how difficult this is. Essentially a multi-scale issue where you see a lot of particle, those are supposed to be the sorbent particles. You see a lot of particle clustering, and then in the two-phase flow regime, how do you deal with particle-rich or dilute particle flow? So a lot of flow simulations needed to be done. So if you remember, the CCSI overall goal is really to accelerate carbon capture technology from the development cycle to the deployment with computational tools. Then at my scale, what I'm supposed to do is to really provide a device scale predictive capability with a confidence bound, not just one deterministic prediction. Now I'm going to have to provide industry, who is really the stakeholder of our program here, with a probabilistic-based decision-making tool to say whether they can go forward with this technology or not. So we're going to have to tell them what is the design confidence level for carbon capture for a certain design, a conceptual design, even before the equipment can be made. So this is a really bold prediction. How can we do that? Now you remember again, these are the challenges, right? How do we do that? It's actually through introducing like an intermediate layer lab scale experiment. Now these experiments are needed to calibrate and validate our models at this scale to fine-tune or hone in on the modeling parameters that we use to make a prediction at scale. The details, I think somebody also talked about in the morning, models and experiments. In this project, it's not only about modeling. It's about how the modelers talk with the experimentalists and how to use the model results to guide the future experiments to further fine-tune the model parameters to enable a prediction. So in statistic terms, we actually call them a priori and posterior distributions. I think in this environment, I don't know how much statistics background you have. I don't think I can go into details. But essentially, we build up all these posterior distributions through unit problems and treat them as priors to the next problem so we can build up the predicted confidence at scale. I will not go into details. But the final product, I don't think I have time. So this is the posterior and prior thing. And this thing actually is done using what's called a Bayesian inference tool. The final part, I'm just going to move down to the very bottom. I think time is about up. Is through this progressive calibration and validation process, we can actually build up the confidence level, a distribution, not a single level, not a single deterministic value for all the parameters of the simulation, so we can enable a prediction at scale. So this is our prediction for the CO2 absorption rate. This is the y-axis, is how much CO2 we can capture in percentage for that absorber. And then the y-axis is actually the processing volume. How much flow, what's the gas flow rate you want to do. So what you can see is this, instead of just one point deterministic simulation, now for each flow rate, for each processing volume here, you can see it's a distribution. It's a sort of like a whisker plot. What happens is the middle, the blue line is the mean point, is your prediction. And if the DOE has actually a requirement for 90% capture. So what this is telling you is if you want a 90% capture, which is the dashed line I'm drawing there, and if you want 95% confidence on your prediction, then you can pretty much say, I can flow it at 72, whatever the unit is, I forgot. So this is a tool that can tell the designer on what to do, on what confidence level you can have. And then basically all this, the processing volume goes to the cost, because if you can really process very little per reactor, then you need a lot of reactors, that's cost. The risk here is also cost, because there's cost of lawsuits, cost of economics. So basically, the designers will take this to the economists, they'll translate this into money, show this to some kind of manager to make a decision. So that's what this whole thing is about. The task I'm involved with is really to show you as a case study what a real project in terms of in the arena of energy and materials and environment really entails. It's not one single discipline at all. It's a multidisciplinary and I would call a diversity of discipline. Okay, so I would end with that, and I think my last slide is, again, the shameless advertisement for the jobs. So if you're interested, do go there and look for any interesting positions. And again, we have a little bit relaxed requirement for citizenship because of the multi-program nature. So we have office assigned programs that we can apply, we can accept foreign nationals. So I would, thank you.